Hello everybody, it's Ken Faulkner. I'm here with another knife video. It's a partial collection video, being all these are Kizers, and second most quantity of models of one brand in my collection. I recently did a Spyderco collection update. I haven't done a Kaiser one in a long time. Uh, but things have slowed down. I'd have to go back to that other one and see. But I mean, I really haven't gotten purchased as many new Kaisers. Um, and in reality, okay. So do you guys kind of like review your collecting? I don't know if I'm just a really strange person, quite possibly, but I go back and I kind of evaluate myself and say, I'm not thinking about it in the moment when I'm buying stuff. I'm not going through and saying, why am I buying this particular knife? Why specifically? Because it's really more of an emotional thing than, and it's just like excitement about something. I mean, I'm watching a lot of YouTube, and I'm browsing through you know different platforms that sell knives, checking out the latest things. Definitely Kaiser gets my attention. Certainly being one of the most highly populated, if you want to say that, brands in my collection. Certainly every time I hear Kaiser, I'm paying attention. Now, I think that my collecting has evolved over time. I think that I'm evolving, and I wonder if you guys see that in yourselves, or you don't really, think about it that much. Maybe I'm just like geeking out, but I do, and maybe you see it in my videos and how I talk about my knives and my collecting and stuff like that. Maybe you see that I really, and a lot of it comes from this whole spreadsheet thing, and I bring up the spreadsheet thing a lot, but um, you know within this last year, a little bit into 2024, and throughout 2025, I have been marking down when I bought or received the knives, actually, like when they actually came into my possession. And it helps me kind of track this whole thing because my memory, if you've been around, you know, my memory is not great. So I have to like do spray, and my work is a lot of stats and information that has to be, and people come to me. I've been around the company for over 35 years now. Is that right? Yeah, 35? No, not quite 35. Yes, 30. See my memory? See, it's been a long time, and people come to me. My boss came to me the other day and said, "I come to you for information on older jobs." And I said, "Well, welcome to the club. So many people do, and it's not that I have this incredibly sharp memory. There was a guy that used to work at the company. He's retired since, and he was just could remember numbers. Boom, 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 boom. That's not me. I'm the guy that knows where to find the information. So that's my, that's like my superpower. That's the story of my success. And so the spreadsheet is for me that kind of thing when it comes to collecting, to be able to go back and really see what goes on. So I have a lot of Kaisers here. We're gonna kind of get past all my blah 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 stuff. I have a lot of Kaisers here, and most of them were bought earlier in the collecting. There was a time, obviously, if you know me, you probably know that I'm a big fan of Bees Blades. I've talked about that before. He's a really good friend. I'm really looking forward to seeing him again because he's in Ohio. I'm in California, so as good of a friend as you can have across the country like that. He is a good friend, and he is big. He was probably more so big on Kaisers earlier on when I first started watching his channel. Still is, of course. He's done shows specifically with Kaiser. He's very coordinated with them. But it seems that he is even kind of slowed down and kind of diversified a little bit more into other things. But because that he was influencing a lot of my early collecting stuff, this Kizer was one of those. This Towser K, was one of those ones that was specific to that, and also Fu Fam, because he was. I fondly remember the days when he was working with Kizer. I think he's gone to Remet this year. He's worked with Migaron. He actually had a design out from Migaron, so he's like very active in the community. Great guy, and every time I get to hang out with him, it's always a blast. So I get to see him this year at Blade Show. Super excited about that. So yeah, I was buying Kizers like crazy. All the ones, the Feist. This is the fight. I'm working around my my camera stand here, guys. That's why I'm kind of going in and out. In case you're wondering, the Feist. It's not really so much my cup of tea, but it's just something about it. I mean, this is one of those ones where I kind of wonder why I enjoy this knife so much, and I really can't say for sure. I mean, I do like a pokey knife, and this is definitely a pokey knife. It has the only one way of deployment, which is not normally my thing, but a front flipper is not a bad option for me. I'd rather have a front flipper than a back flipper, just because for me it's just more of a satisfying deployment, I guess. I can't really explain everything of why I like what I like, and I don't think any of us can, and maybe that's too much of a burden to try to answer that kind of question, and just kind of let it go. But we're gonna roll through these guys. There's a lot of knives, so it's probably gonna be a long video. I've already gone 6 minutes and I've shown some knives, but I haven't really talked about specifics on them. We're gonna start out with this one here, and this one's kind of unique in the fact that it is part of the upcoming giveaway. It's coming up tomorrow. I'm going to be announcing the winner. You can go back to Saturday if you don't know anything about the giveaway. This is going to be my first Kizer, I think. I'm pretty sure this is my first Kizer that I'm giving away. So I had to break it out of the box in order to show it. It's such a cool knife. It is a great bargain. When I bought it, and maybe it's a little bit more, maybe it's not even available. I don't know. Haven't really paid attention too much, but it was like $30. And it's, again, a front flipper. But yeah, it's very nice. Cool look. Very nice knife. I like the leaf shape. Really good knife. It's going off in the giveaway as one of the used knives. If you've been around my giveaways, I get a new knife and I pick something from my collection. Here's another one that is kind of on the chopping block. I kind of like set up, and unfortunately this one has some memory attached to it, and maybe it won't be given a giveaway. This is one that I got in. I got it in a bag from Kizer on my first Blade Show in Utah, Blade Show West in Utah. Fu was working for him at that time. He had gift bags made up. He had this cool little party set up. Kizer, I haven't been to tons of parties, mostly Kizer parties, but a few parties at Blade Show from different brands, and Kizers has the best party every year consistently, and it's always good to go to that. Anyway, this was in the bag, the LP. I didn't even know about it when I first got it, but it's really cool. I think this is my Carta, right? Yeah, it is my Carta. Just a beautiful look. It's kind of not really so much my thing. The jimping doesn't grip too much, but it definitely goes way out. And you do get traction. But something about this one feels like it could go. And I think that somebody is the Azo design. I think somebody would really like having this one, probably more than I do. So it may make it, it may not. Everything's up in the air with me. Kizer Roach, the Roach, big monster. Now, I was looking at knives that Kizer's put out this year. I've only bought one Kizer this year, and that was the Muskrat. Now, I did have two late into last year that I bought, and we'll talk about those guys. But But yeah, I've definitely slowed down on buying Kizers, even though I'm interested in them and all that. There's one that's a lot like this in the shape called the Bulldog that came out. I was looking at all the different ones that came out. There is one that I really wanted to get, but if you know about it, you know the Silver Wing. Expensive. Uh, that's a great knife. I would love that. I mean, I wish they had made more of them. They seem like they're doing like some of these special runs and doing small batches, and that's unfortunate because a lot of people in the masses that might want it maybe just can't either afford it. Some of them are pretty expensive at the time, but that's the way it is in the knife and life game. you know, there's just stuff that comes up in life, and only certain people are able to get in on it. I have been very fortunate to get in on a lot of things that other people maybe haven't. So, I always see myself as kind of in the middle of the road. Maybe I'm a little high as far as the overall because I think I don't know. I think that there's probably more people based on what I see in my comments, and I think that those probably are some of the more active collectors. That a lot of them are going more for the budget knives. And so I think in numbers, and then there's probably a lot of people that watch that don't comment. Maybe I'm just guessing. I really don't know, but I think that budget knives are the ones like, and that's why you see so many budget knives on Amazon. I think because they really go for that quantity thing. At least I think so. Anyway, so that's the Roach. That's a big monster. There's several big knives in here from Kizer, and it seemed like this year they didn't have a lot. Maybe the Bulldog you might kind of consider, and that kind of looks like this shape. But a lot of them didn't stand out as much for me because I do like these big guys that they put out in the past. This full size Roach, and then they discontinued that to the best of my knowledge. Another one is fairly decent sized one, but it's more long than girthy, if you want to use that word. This would be the Manganis Gracioso. Just a cool design. It's got kind of like, it's got a recurve. It's got these features in it that make it, for me, kind of make it stand out. Some of the other Kizers this year didn't kind of stand out so much for me. They do a lot of handle materials, and that's not as appealing to me. Different colors, different, things like that. For me, the style of like the grinds and like this bolster here, the way it's done with the brass, that's kind of what appeals to me. To the best of my knowledge, like I say, I really can't say what will draw me and what won't draw me. Muskrat, this is a recent one, and you guys have seen it recently, but that's such a cool. I love that little crosshatch. I am getting into these smaller EDCs, but I'm not really buying a lot of the ones from a brand like Kizer that's like a big brand that puts out a whole bunch of different knives and happens to throw in some throw in some fixed blades, but in reality, if something's cool, it's cool. Even if that for the most part those don't appeal to me as much, there's going to be some that are going to stand out. I got a Kubi fixed blade that's the Dust Devil. I got a few of them. These EDC fixed blades. This one's great because my girlfriend got it for me, and Bees helped her to get it because she really, this is the one that she had me buy to smokescreen and make me think that I'd already gotten my Christmas present or whatever present it was for whatever event it was. It's probably a birthday. And then she sprung this one on me, and we had talked about it. I remember when the Serape first came out, and I thought that was really cool. I mean, just after I talk about how I'm not super big on the different handle colors or whatever, then I admit that, yes, this one was definitely something that stood out to me, the Serape. It's slick. Good grip on it, though, and I love the Towser K, and yeah, this is fun. I mean, obviously, this is the only one with a with any kind of lanyard on it, and it's because it's got that cool little matching bead. So there's always exceptions to the rule. Yeah, this is a great knife, and it's a pretty decent sized one as well. in my mind. Speaking of decent size, the sheepdog. Back when I got this was pretty early on in the collecting. Carbon fiber was all kind of starting to come in, but this is that peel ply. Really didn't understand what that was, and not a big fan of it. Now, this one does actually have texture, which definitely is a huge saving grace for peel ply type. The ones that are super slick but look like they have a pattern, yeah, I'm particularly a little bit unhappy about that whole concept. It's almost seems like they're just trying to get you on looks and without the function. And like carbon fiber is super strong and super light. It's a lot of things going good for it. But if you're adding it on top of G10 to save money, then you're kind of like, it's kind of like, I don't know. You tell me. You decide. But for me, it's like a little thing. Big old monster. I'm not super into cleavers, but this is one that I really like because it's so big. And it doesn't carry so bad in the pocket. It's pretty heavy. I'm sure some people would say that it is a impractical EDC carry, but I will EDC this guy just because it put a smile on my face. Really like this one. The weight of the blade, it gives it an action. I wish I had waited until after they had the ones with the holes, because I would love to have one of those, and I might buy one someday. I'm not big on getting multiple models. I might get like a smaller regular size. Even when you have like the regular size and then the XL and then the mini and all that. And normally I'm not going for the mini, almost always. And a lot of the Kizers seem like this year they had the mini Momo and the mini Mystic. Some of those kind of things kind of I'm not big on. The XLs are more towards what I go for. Not always, but in this case, yeah, definitely, because just the beast. So I might get a regular size one with a hole at some point because it looks pretty cool, and I'd really like to know how that feels, flicking wise. The fun, because the back flipper, even though it works great, and it's not a no go for me if that's the only way to do it. It's just not my favorite. So anyway, moving on. This is definitely one that a lot of people call ugly, and there's several knives that I like. I like Medfords. I like Medfords, and I like the look of them and everything like that. And a lot of people just hate them, and just like, I have no problem with people being honest with themselves on what they like and dislike. And I just hope that nobody, just because I like this knife and a lot of people think it's ugly, I think it's cool, and it's so fidgety. That was the big draw. I like the PlayStation thing because that's, it brings me back to my childhood. It really does. And so again, the pattern on the scale, it does have an impact on me. And sometimes it clicks and sometimes it doesn't. So anyway, Comrade is a very fidgety because it's got the middle finger, it's got the button, it's got the front flipper, it's got the button, it's got the back flipper, and it is a low profile back flipper, which is good. I it's not like as huge of a thing for me as it is maybe for some other people as far as in the pocket and reaching by. It's not a big issue for me, but the fact that, because you really kind of needed to have it on this one because you got the front flipper and you don't want that back flipper to hit your finger as you're opening the knife. And that's the real reason for that. And this one was kind of breakthrough in my mind. I mean, I'm not like Mr. Finger on the pulse on everything, but I don't think there was a ton of stuff with this multiple front flipper, back flipper, hole deployment stuff. And then after the Comrade, it seemed like they came out with some more of them in the market. And they were very popular, and I like them. This is the Mini Paragon, the Mini, right? I always laugh about that because it is a beast of a knife. It's kind of a narrow handle for a big knife, but it feels good in my hand. It's nice. It's thick enough here, whereas this one is more tall than thick, but they're about the same thickness, really. I don't know if you can see that. They're about the same. They feel pretty close. But because this is so tall, it makes it feel thinner, I guess, on the handle. So this one, yeah, it still fills my hand. There's some knives like this LP. I mean, I think that's part of the reason why it's kind of on the, because it's kind of small in the hand. It makes you feel that clip a lot more. It just makes it when you're holding it, doesn't feel like your whole hand is full. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe, but it's kind of like when you make a fist. There's a certain like area in there, or you're gripping onto something. There's a certain area that, and if it's more narrow, it seems like it more easily twist in your hand, that kind of thing. You probably know what I'm talking about. If you're big into knives and you really like think about that kind of stuff, you probably know what I'm talking about. I love that, and this is kind of a crazy shape, and some people would probably be. It's funny, Casey has got his Mach 71 coming out. Man, I was so into that Mach 51 Tempest knives, and he talks about how he'll never do it again. I was like, oh man, I was so in on that. I had my money down. Anyhow, he said that people thought it was just kind of a weird shape and everything, and I could see that people would say this too. This one it was a gift to me. I was gonna buy it, but Vu was at that first show in Blade Show West, and he said, "Hey, I'm just going to give you this one." He was a very generous guy. I don't know, maybe that's why he's not working with Kaiser anymore. I don't know. I don't think he was just giving out stuff randomly, but anyway, cool knife. For me, you might think it's cool. It's whatever. Geeky. Another one that is kind of like some people like and some people don't is the Momo. I was huge on this one. This is one of the newer ones in my collection from end of 2024. And man, this one just struck a nerve for me. Very cool. I mean, yes, it does look like a big kitchen knife, but it's got that Japanese look with that almost like a friction folder. A lot of friction folders have a big thing here. And some people really don't like that. They say it's going to get caught on things or whatever. I never, for one thing, I haven't had that problem. And for another thing, I just love it. And there's a certain amount of I don't know, just things that I like for whatever reason. Everybody's got their individual opinions. And I think it's important that we accept ourselves and accept other people, and not say, "Oh, geez, I don't like that at all. I don't like this one, so you must be wrong." No, for me. That's not a real thing. Interesting jipping on there. Grabs really well for the front flipper. It's up high, so it makes it really easy to flick out. It's got a great feel to the flick. I love the look. This is just very cool. I'm not interested at all in the mini Momo because I love this so much that I think I could never. It would be that stepchild thing, Not that there's anything wrong with a stepchild, but that's the concept. That's just the concept. It's not a real thing. I mean, I think you can love anything, but for me, I think I always look at it like it's cool, but it's just not the Momo. It's the Momo Mini. That's me. I've told you about that, and then we talked about this guy here. Wish I could. I think I can index this one pretty well. I wish I could do. I was better at the over the top. I can do it, but I'm just not as good at it. Things to work on. It's always good to have things to work on. This thing is not cheap though. This is of course the Feist. This one is one of the few on the collection. This is the only M390 blade. I got N690, a lot of 154, which, all these brands tend to be kind of like S30V is popular with Spyderco. There's like certain steels that are popular. But M390 is not one of the ones that I see a lot on Kizers, and this one does have that. So it ended up being, let's see, the Feist, $99. Right, not bad. I'd still call it a budget knife, but for such a small knife, it makes it harder for me to spend that kind of money on it. Just for whatever reason. It was natural G10. I did dye it. It kind of turned out well, not perfect. And I didn't really use the acrylic or whatever, the synthetic. I mean, Rit dye, which would give me a better color, but still, I kind of like it. It's kind of like a muted, kind of like, not perfect, but who is certainly not me, right? So anyway, yeah, it's very flaky. Man, this thing has stabbed me so many times. I think it's because it's small, and then you go to close it, and then you end up stabbing yourself in the hand. That's where it tends to get me. It's like right there. But obviously, I don't hold it against it because I still really like the knife. All right, moving on. Where are we at? 25. Yeah, maybe we can keep it around a half hour. That'd be good. Kizer October. This is I won this one on Bees Blades, and I think Top Dog was the one that was donating this one. Man, that's a cool knife. It's a little smaller. I would like to have like a October XL. But yeah, this is really nice, and I really love the milling on here. Again, there are some types of handle designs and textures, great texture, that do catch my attention. But then there's a lot of them, like the colors and things like that. I do have a few, with colored so I never say never about anything when it comes to knife buying, but yeah, this one's really cool. It's got a good weight to it. Nice solid. I don't know if it has any. It does have pockets in there. It's just a solid knife for the size. I mean, it's not that heavy in general, but it's just for the size. It feels substantial, which I like. Great feel in the hand. Kizer October. It was quite popular. That brass and this design on the titanium when it came out. Yeah, I was so happy to win that one. This is one I won at one of the Kizer. I actually, Kizer has these parties after hours at the Blade Show, and you'll get a grab bag. You might get T-shirts and hats and stuff like that. The only one I ever got a knife in the grab bag was the first year that Vu did, because he's the man. But this was a giveaway. They did a bunch of giveaways, and my number got picked. You get like a number when you come in, and they pick it, and you get to go. I got to go up and pick out of a stack of them, and I didn't know the torn gat. I thought it was Tom Gat when I first looked at it. I told that story before. That R and the N kind of looked together like an M. But Torn Gat, that's like a mountain range, I guess, in Canada. When I did some research, I didn't know anything about the knife, anything, but I did know that it had this cool. Remember I told you I like grinds and just cool different grinds. That draws my attention. The little stripes that you see on a few Kizers, right? Here you got them. I guess those are the only two in my collection with that, but I've seen them before. So anyway, maybe that's an Azo thing. I don't know. Is Azo the designer on this one? No, somebody else. So maybe it has to do with the specific designer. Silver. Something design. I can't read it. Saez design. I'm not that familiar with the different designers from Kizer. They have a group of them, and they have some really great design. I mean, I really like Kizers. Even though I have bought less of them this year, I still think they're a great brand. They always have quality, real good quality. And I'm not just saying that because I want to go to their party. They they are really a great brand. So I saw this one with the titanium with the lock bar, little insert on here. I've seen it on a couple other knives, and I just grabbed it. I go, why didn't anybody else? I wasn't the first one to go up there and pick a knife. Why didn't anybody else pick this one? Well, it's probably because it spoke to me more than it maybe spoke to other people. This one I really dig. Really dig. It is the Mystic. It's a lot like this one here from, what's his name? I always forget his name, the designer of this one. Manganis. It's similar, right? It's got kind of that wildness, and this is what I'm talking about. That I like, and I love the micarta. I love a bolster lock. This one's a liner lock, but I love a bolster lock. Big knife, and it's Rex 45. And this was my first, what do you want to call it? First time buying something in the Rex series of steel. The Mystic, I love the name. It's a cool name. Nice big knife. It's got such great action. Got some good thumb stunts, and it's a front flipper, and so yeah, it's a really cool. I love the way my Carta changes colors. I always say that all the time, but when it darkens like that, it just looks, I don't know, it's like a worn in pair of blue jeans. to me. It's very cool. Now, this next one is the only one actually on here, believe it or not, that is my girlfriend's. And cool story, Blade Show, hanging out. My girlfriend and Mrs. B's got to be kind of buddies, and it's kind of grown over time. They actually talk to each other probably multiple times a week, maybe even on the daily. I don't know. They're both big animal lovers. They have a lot in common. But it was a funny story because my girlfriend needed to go to the bathroom, and we were hanging out at the Kizer booth, and Mrs. B comes over and said, I think Vicky wants that knife. Vicky B. I won't give her full name. She doesn't want to be part of the whole YouTube world, but she is there at the lives too. Anyway, she says, I think she really likes that knife. And I'm going, oh man, thanks, because I've been wanting to, buy her something because I'm spending so much money on myself, and then I don't feel so greedy. Drop Bear's great. Drop Bear's great. Cool. This is that LC200N. It's just really cool. She liked it. Mrs. B's likes this knife. So, I mean, clearly they have a lot in common. So it's going to be cool because my girlfriend is going to make it this year, barring anything crazy. Last year, the cat got really sick and she ended up staying home. So hopefully that doesn't happen again, because it was a real damper on last year, to be honest with you. But hopefully she'll be able to go because her and Caitlin like to hang out, and not just at the show, but after hours, dinners and stuff like that. Kizer party probably. Yeah, this is hers, and it's a cool knife. I wouldn't mind having it in my collection. Probably not. It may not be in the collection because it's kind of a combination. If it weren't for her wanting it, I don't know. Maybe it would. It's a great knife, though. And then there's the Megatherium. A lot of people talk about this as like almost a grail level. It is a crazy knife, huh? Speaking of crazy grinds, crazy look. This is by, I'm going to blank on the designer, of course. This is the guy that passed away. The Megatherium from, damn it, why? Why does my brain do this to? I love this designer, and man, that sucks. That sucks. You're screaming at me right now. I'd be screaming at me right now because I would know the name if I wasn't trying to remember it. Oh gosh. Anyway, he's always got these crazy designs. He did the Arrakis design. Maybe one of his more famous ones, but this is a big beast of a knife. It feels really good. I'm such a fan of his stuff, and I can't think of his name. Crazy. All right, guys. I'll probably flash it on the screen or something if I feel like it. So here we go. 32 minutes. Kizer, definitely fading out. But one thing I've noticed when I went through and just looked at what I bought last year, I wasn't focusing. There was only maybe 3 brands that I had more than one knife that I bought from, and there's only one with 4, which is Spyderco. We've talked about that earlier. Spyderco's kind of been the brand of the year for 2025 for me. So it's not anything against Kizer. It's just that I think I've like diversified. It's kind of like you're taking your stock portfolio and diversifying and buying some gold, or you're doing this, doing that, trying to keep things diverse. But I've been very much into getting into new brands, different brands, some of the stuff less well known, trying different things out. That's kind of been the theme this year. And we'll see what happens next year. I'm gonna, you guys, or the rest of the year for that matter. We'll see what happens at Blade Show. I'll keep you along on the ride with me, and we'll kind of see where it goes from there. And thanks a lot, guys. Thank you so much. It wouldn't be nearly as much fun to collect knives if it weren't for you guys. Totally honestly. I would still be doing it, but regardless. All right, guys, that's it. Big, long video. And, hey, I'm super looking forward to Professional Dads Live. I don't even know if I'll have this thing posted by the time it starts. Yeah, it's like an hour away. So probably not. But anyway, I hopefully see you there. Hope we have a whole lot of fun because I think it's going to be awesome. Hey, you guys have a good one, and I'll see you on the next one.